So I think we can just start. You can just open Godot on your computer. And this is a really nice game engine. Actually, really small, only like 30 megabits, but it gives us a lot of possibilities. We have been developing games here already on a few of other camps, and on the New Year's conference as well, I think, and then Höst camp and summer last Påske camp. If you open the Godot, you see this screen here. You can just click on New Project and just create a new project wherever you want. I will create my project on my desktop, so I'll navigate to desktop. I even have a folder only for Godot, so I'll create a new folder here. I'll call it live stream game and select current folder, create and edit. It loads a little bit and sets up everything we need for the game development. I'll briefly explain you what are the different sections here, what we see. On the left side, we see the scene. We'll be building our scene on the left side. In the middle, you see we'll be building 2D game today. So we'll switch over to 2D on the top of the Godot. You can click here, but it's also possible to develop 3D games in Godot. On the right side, you always have the inspector and some other things, but we'll go through those as we learn, I think. So on the script, there is a basic asset thing you need to download so that we can download all those gallery things or all those assets, all those images, and so on. You can, as you see here in the steps to do, we have to download all the assets from this page. So I'll click here. This actually downloads a zip file for me. So I will just click it to open it. And I'll copy this one with Control-C so that I can copy those assets. I will now navigate to the desktop. Here I have the live stream game, and I will very simply paste it here. I will paste it with Control-V, and now I have the assets here. I actually downloaded those right now from the script, as you see. So you have all the assets here. As we can see, we have the sprite sheet of our character. A sprite sheet is as simple as an image with all the different states of our characters or of our frames. We have also another one for the COVID monster. This one we are going to be avoiding today, and we hope we will win. We'll manage to gather all the activities before he catches us. We'll see if it's possible. And then we have some other images. Okay, I will just close this Explorer window right now because I do not need it anymore. I can also close this one, what I actually right now downloaded from the internet, and I will open one more time the Godot game engine. This is Discord. I will close it as I forgot about that. Thank you. If there's anything more that you hear from my computer, you can just mention it again. So we are here. As we are on Godot, it is already importing the assets. We have all our assets here, and we can start over with the next part. So the next thing is to create a 2D node and change the name to Word, add tile map, and choose tiles and create a map. So we'll be doing that together. And this will be simple. This will be everything we need to do right now. So I just clicked. That was maybe too fast. I'll delete it. So on the left side, you have the possibility to create a root node. So I'll just click on the 2D scene, and then we have our first root node. You can make it on your computer as well. If you have two screens, it would be maybe easier for you to use both to see what I'm doing and doing the same thing on another screen. I will change the name of it to world as it is here, and click Control-S to save. And I will save it with the same name as this, world DSCN, as seen. Okay, the next thing is to add a tile map, as we have seen in the script. So I'll click on the plus button here, or you can use Control-A to add a new scene. to add a new node, and we need to write here tile map. So I just clicked on the plus button here on the left side, and I clicked on plus, or I wrote tile map. Let's create the tile map here, and then we're good. We already have our tile map. We'll be creating our tiles here inside the game section. On the right side, we have the inspector right now. In the inspector, we have something like what's called tile set. So let's create a new tile set. So now as I have clicked on the tile map, I can go to the tile set in inspector here on the right side and click on new tile set. As I clicked on a new tile set was created, and I can simply click on that here twice, double click on it, and as we are here, a new section opened on the bottom of our Godot program. In the bottom screen, you see right now the tile set chosen, and then we have a little plus button on the left side, add textures to the tile set. So we can simply click on add here. As I clicked on that, I have to choose the tile sets. So I navigate to the assets folder, and we have our tile sheets complete here. So I'll just choose this one. Just to mention, we need like 5 more minutes to complete our first, or maybe 10 minutes to complete our first chapter, and then I will like briefly repeat what we were doing. For those of you that get stuck already now, I will just go navigate to top to make it bigger, and I just clicked on the plus button and created a new tile sheet here. And this section here gives us the possibility to choose or create new tiles, where we will be using those on the map later. So what's very cool, we can use the option to create auto tile. So we will just navigate with those here on the right and left side and find our grass. I will choose this one to create my new auto tile. So I'll just click on auto tile. Miriam says that it's going a bit too fast. Okay, we can slow a little down. Johannes say as well. Thank you for that feedback. So one more time, I created a new node, new world node with the plus button. And then I created a new tile map node with plus button again. And as I click on the tile map, Rilan agreed as well. Cool, thank you that you're communicating that. As I clicked on the tile map, I clicked on the tile set to create a new tile set. And a new tile set was created. So I click on the tile set here. As it opens here, as I clicked on that one, it opens. And then I can click on the plus button to add a texture to the tile set. So I click on the plus button and I create or choose a new tile sheet. This one. So I hope you are all here on that stage. If not, you can just download the project later from the internet. But we need to move forward, and you can yeah. Okay, now I click on the new tile, auto tile. Where is the PDF that you are using? It is on Discord, Ben. So as you open the Discord, you can go to the game development course and download it from there. And I just downloaded those assets. And later, if you do not have the assets yet, so you can directly download the project after chapter 1 from the link there. Okay, so let's go further. I click on new auto tile, and I can now select a region with tiles. As I drag and drop, I clicked on new auto tile. Remember that you have to click on the tile sheet to get this view here. So I clicked on tile sheet, and now I can choose our section, but it's quite difficult to choose it in that way. So I will allow snapping or use the snapping tool to help me snap around those areas. So now as I clicked on this snapping button after I clicked on new auto tile, and now I can drag and move to create sections like that, regions like that. So I will choose this one here, like that. And before we go forward, I will just navigate to snap options here on the right side, open those. And on the right side in snap options, after I allowed the snipping and I'll enable snap, I changed the step to 64 pixels because our game will use 64 pixels big squares. So I changed to 64, and now as you can see the grid is bigger and it actually fits to all our squares. As you can see, our grid is now, it is very easy to select grids. Okay, let's navigate to the bottom and choose those 9 squares here. I just choose it right like that, and then as I have chosen those, I can then click on bit mask that is needed to create the auto tile. So I click on bit mask, and now I need to fill out in the middle of this auto tile section. So I'll just move around here and try to make it like that. You can, with left mouse click, you can fill the area, and with right mouse click, if you click, for example, here, and you don't want to have this here, you can click with right mouse button to erase it. But basically, you have to make it like that. I will make it a little bit bigger for those of you that only have one screen and need to manage with it. I just clicked on bit mask. For the first, I created a new section, choosing all those here, squares. And then I just click on bit mask, and then I choose this section here inside. Okay, now we are good. To be sure, I will just save the currently edited resource on the right panel under the inspector. So I'll click on the save button right now and just click on save. As I clicked save, a new window popped out, but I'll simply agree and click on save again so that I save this resource as well. Now we can just go to the tile map again. So click on the tile map. And now on the right side, we have the new tile sheet complete. We can click on this here, and then we can actually, it looks like we have the snapping is too little. It looks bad. So we have to change the snap option. I'll just see how big, where should I change it? I just move back to the tile set. So I'll click on tile set here again, open it again, and click on the auto tile. The step is actually okay. Oh, here we have subtitle size. So we have to change this one here to 64 as well. So one more time, I just clicked on tile map again. I clicked then on new tile here on the right panel. I clicked on the tile sheet on the left section, in the left area, and then I click with left mouse click on the auto tile, and then I need to change the subtile size to 64. As I change this, our bit mask moved a little bit, so I have to erase it actually one more time with left mouse click. Now click on bit mask again, and with left mouse click, just create the same section as we had before, like that. And now we have our auto tile. So now I'll click on save one more time on the right side, and then I'll navigate to tile map again and try if it works now. Yeah, now it works perfectly. Now it fits our size very well. You see, it is kind of weird what happens right now because the Godot program, tries to automatically generate our map. Basically, what we need to do is to create a round section like that, so that we have the corners, right? So we can use the control button to zoom out a little bit. I will just zoom out a little bit like that. Zoom out a little bit more. I click with left mouse click and then use the control. If you use the control, then you can, and control and shift, then you can create areas like that. You see? Wow, amazing. You can create big areas like that. So now we have our corners. And the only thing I want to do right now is to disable, or I'll make our game a little bit bigger, like that maybe. You can create it as big as you wish. Now I will click on disable auto tile and just use the grass to put it inside. So one more time I click on the grass area here, and now I can with left mouse click, control and shift, create sections like that here. So now we have our base environment, our base map. As we have it, we can now start creating our things inside, right? So we do not want to have such a boring game like that. So we have to add something to it. So we go to the tile map again and choose a new tile we wish to add. I'll click on tile set again. I'll click on the left side on tile set, and then go up, navigate up, and click on new single tile. As I click on that, I can choose a tile that I want to use. For example, this one. So as I select it, it already fits our grid because we allowed the snapping tool. And then as I selected it, I can also select a new collision. Do you all hear the sound that I hear? If somebody joins or leaves, maybe I can just disable the...
Still Discord, I think.
Yeah, I still think it's Discord again. Maybe I did not close it. 1 second. Actually, I closed Discord. I think it's Zoom, you know, because I'm still sharing the computer voice. Okay, so now I share the screen without the computer voice. I hope it will not be there. If everyone mutes. Yeah, Kadina, I don't think it's about the muting. It was from me, you know, from my computer. So I hope it will not be there. If you should write again if it's there still. Okay, so we have our base map. So now I hope you are a little bit more familiar with the tile map section. You can add as many as you wish tiles, because we are not going so fast for those of you that are a little bit faster, but for everyone else, we'll simply add one more tile or two more tiles. One more time, click on the tile map. On the right section, click on the new tile to edit the tile set. And then click on the left side on the texture. We can expand it a little bit to make it bigger. And then click on the new single tile, select the area I wish. I have here a new tile. I can click on that, and then I can click collision to make sure that our character will not be allowed to go through this tile, because on the grass we want to allow our character to navigate or go through the grass, but not through a wall. So I'll click on collision one more time. So I first clicked on new single tile. Inside the region, I selected this tile here. I just click on the collision then. As I clicked on collision, we have this create a new rectangle icon. So I click on that one. And now I can just select an area like that. It automatically aligns to our lines because we have the snapping tool allowed. This is this one here. If it's not so on your computer, you can just enable snap and show grid here. Okay, so the player will not be able to go through those walls, but maybe add one more tile. I will navigate to the bottom or to the up. Where is the... to the left. So on the left, we have this tile here. I want to add this one. So I'll click on new single tile and select the area for this one. Click on the collision again. As I clicked on collision, select the rectangle. and then select the area for the rectangle here. Great. We have those two tiles. I'll just save it one more time with Control S, and I'll click on tile map on the left side. You can also add more tiles as you wish, if you wish. I click on the tile map, and now we have those tiles here. Actually, tile sheet complete. Oh, I have added those twice, but we only need one of those. I will select the other one because the first one is without collisions, I think. So I will select another one. This the other one. I will zoom with Control and scrolling. You can zoom in and zoom out. And with in the middle, with the mouse click in the middle, you can click the mouse click in the middle, and then you can move your area around. How cool is that? Okay, let's create our game. Maybe I'll add a wall here. Maybe I'll place the coding activity here. Then we create some different walls. You can use your imagination. Oh, look, I made a mistake. I can click on Control Z to make it back, or I can use the left button mouse to erase this one. So I maybe create some simple walls here to make it a little bit more difficult for our users. And then I will also use this tile to close our game region, because now the person can simply navigate or go through the walls. So I'll just close it, and with this tile to not allow the user to go outside our game area. So with the shift, you can you can click it like that, or paint it like clicking and drawing. And you can also use the shift button to one time click, and then as you drag, it will behave like that, and then it will create straight lines for you. So I'll use the shift one more time, click here, drag it to the bottom, click one more time, and drag it to the right. Okay, so then we're done with our first chapter. For those of you that did not manage it, so for those of you to whom it was too fast, you can just open the script here, and you can download the project after chapter 1 from here. So I will simply make it to show you how it works. Right now, I will close this project that I created right now. Actually, don't save, because I don't want to save this one. But you shall save for sure. I will just delete this one, Easter Camp Adventure, no, live stream game, because I want to download this as you would download it. I click on the link right now here, and then we have chapter 1, PC 12 Easter Adventure. So here's the Godot project. I will copy it with Control C, and I will paste it to my folder here. Oh, actually, I already have this one here, so I have to paste it to the desktop. And here we have our chapter 1 project. We can also open it with our Godot game engine. I'll give you some time to download it and to open it. As you open the Godot engine, you have to click on Scan to add a project that you downloaded from the internet. So I click on Scan. As I clicked on Scan, I will simply navigate to the desktop, and I will simply basically open this Easter Camp Adventure, select this folder. So here we are. Here we have our desktop PC Easter Camp Adventure, and I'll open this one. So this should be the project that we downloaded from the internet, from the PDF script, and you can be aligned with me right now. We can click on the world scene on the left side, and here we have our world scene. I will zoom a little bit out. The walls are a little bit different as they were before, but basically we are here. Cool. So I'll give you like some minutes to download it, to make it, and I'll get some water, and then we'll continue in 2 minutes if it's okay for you. How is the speed now? Are we still going too fast? Better, okay. Still too fast, Rylan. Okay, so I'll try to make it a little bit slower, but I also want to accomplish the game. Okay, Lars Peter, thank you for the feedback. So I hope you can just okay, you can just download the project from chapter 1 to be aligned with us with those. But is there anyone who managed the speed, for whom the speed is not too fast? Yeah, that's good. Can you explain one more time how to open the chapter 1 file in Godot? Yeah, I can do that. So basically you can I will close Godot for now. I just downloaded it to the desktop, extracted it from the zip file, and then I clicked on the Godot here. And here there isn't, our project is not here, so we have to click on scan on the right side, Miriam, and then you have to navigate to your desktop or to the place where you downloaded it, open the desktop file because I had it on the desktop, and then click on the folder and then select this folder. As you click on select this folder, you have it on the projects list, and then you can simply open it like that with double clicking it. How to add grass inside the box. If I simply try to put it there, the border looks bad. Yeah, because you have to disable the auto tile map. So you go to the tile map, you click on the auto tile, it's this one, and you have to click on the disable auto tile. If you disable the auto tile, the Godot game engine will not try to change your change your map, and then you can just simply add tiles here. Okie dokie, let's go further. Now what we are going to do is creating our player scene. I hope this will not be too fast for you. We'll click on the plus button to create a new scene. In the middle here, plus, I clicked it, and now we have to create our root node again. So we are going to create a character. He'll be able to move. So we have to choose a kinematic body, not the 2D scene. So do not choose this one. Click on other node. As I clicked on other node, we can write kinematic body here, kinematic body 2D. You have to choose this one with 2D. So just write kinematic body and then click on create. So one more time, I clicked on the plus button here. I clicked on the, then I had the possibility to create, or then I created a new scene. And then in the new scene, I clicked on select other, and then I wrote kinematic body, and then we are here. We have our kinematic body. So let's double click on that one to change the name to player, because this is going to be our player. As I change the name to player, I click enter. And then we have to add all those nodes that we have here. So in the script, you have the different nodes. We have a sprite here, a collision shape, so that our character can collide with objects. We have a dash timer, we have animation player, and the camera, because the camera will follow our player. So let's add all of those. I'll add a sprite. So I clicked on the plus button or click Control A as you clicked on the player to add it under the player. Let's add a sprite, not animated sprite, but a single sprite. Click on the player again to add a new node to player again after you added a sprite. So after we added the sprite, I click on the plus button again, and we need to add a collision shape. Collision shape. Okay. So after collision shape, we'll take a look in the script again. We have to add a dash timer, but there is no dash timer node, so we have to add a simple time. It is a simple timer. So write timer to create a new node, and then change the name to dash timer. Dash timer, because this timer is going to count down how much or how long is our character dashing. or running on, or yeah. We also need to add a animation player, enter to add this one. You don't have to write the whole names, the complete names. And at the bottom of our node, we have to add, what was the last thing? It is the camera, right? So that we can camera 2D. Let's add it here. Okay, so I'll give you 1 minute to add this. We have our player. I just created a new scene. I can actually save it. As I save it, I will save it with player. So I'll resume one more time. After chapter 1, we just created a new scene by clicking on the plus button. Then as the first node, we added a kinematic body 2D, and we changed the name of this to player, because there is no node called player. If you choose a wrong one, you can also right-click on this here and change the type of the node. So as we clicked on a player, we have to add all those different ones: a sprite, a collision shape 2D, a dash timer, animation player, and a camera 2D. Okay, I hope we are not going too fast now, but I'll still give you some time to. Is the timer the same as dash timer? Yeah, Felix? Just add timer and change the name to dash timer. Thanks for the question. So add a timer and then change the name of it to dash timer. Oh, and for those of you that do not know about it, you can, on the Zoom, you can click on the more here. I have it in German actually, but you can click on more and then add a chat here. Click the chat, then you can speak with me or speak with us and tell if it's too fast or too slow and so on. I'm not using Discord right now. You can use Discord to communicate with other more experienced mentors that are there. I think it's better now. We did not see your screen there. Oh, yeah, right, because you do not see the Zoom options. I cannot stream the Zoom, enabling Zoom chat. Yeah, you can just go to the Zoom panel on the bottom or on the top of in your computer and then click on more. What is the type of player? It's kinematic body. So you have to, if you chose the wrong one, you have to change type with right mouse click and change to kinematic body 2D. Okay. Alt A. How did you make it not connect? How did you make it not connected to the word? So I basically clicked on the plus button here. Plus button to create a new scene. Okay, Katina, I need to go further because we do not have that much time now, or we still have some time, but we want to complete our course, and then it will also be recorded and posted on YouTube. It is actually recorded right now. The next thing is to add the character male adventure sprite. So we have to actually add our sprite to our character. So click on the sprite. We'll go over it. Okay. Yeah, it's okay, Raylan. Let's click on the sprite here and choose an asset, and then choose the character male adventure sheet. So let's click on that one and then drag and drop it on the texture. Okay, so now we have the whole texture here. And then we have to choose it a little bit, simply choose one of those. But we also click, as you click on the sprite, you have to click on the animation on the inspector on the right side. So click on the animation. And now we have the frames here. So here you can define how big our sprite sheet is. So we have the weight is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 9 in weight, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in height. So height frames are, oh, I click on sprite one more time, and then in the inspector here, height frames are actually 5. But you have to paste it here in v frames. And then H frames are 9. So what I did right now, I clicked on the sprite, I drag and drop the texture adventure to the texture by simply drag and dropping it here, like that. Then I clicked on the sprite one more time, or I'm still on the sprite, and clicked on the inspector. And in the animation tab, I clicked to open it, to collapse it, uncollapse it, and then I wrote 5 and 9 here in V frames 5 and in H frames 9. So you can, with your scroll, you can move it a little bit in to see how it looks like. And now we have to move it, or now we have to add a collision shape, or let's check in the script if it's, yeah. Next thing is to add the collision shape in the script. So I click on the collision shape, and for now our character can just move, just looks like this one, but he can still go through walls and so on. So we click on collision shape to create a shape of his collision, how big his collision area will be. Click on the collision shape here. On the right panel, click on shape to choose a shape. We'll simply use a new circle shape 2D. Now you'll see the shape was added here. So let's click on the, let's make it a little bit, or let's use the radius here. So you simply click on the circle shape one more time. I have chosen the shape circle shape. I clicked on that one, and then I changed the radius to be 30 maybe. How big is that? It's like that. I think it's okay. It will be 60 then. Yeah, it will be good right like that. The only thing is our sprite is not in the middle of the player right now, because here is the middle of our player. So I'll just click on the sprite. I'll just one more time say what I did. I clicked on collision shape. I chose collision circle shape, and then I chose clicked on the circle shape one more time, and then I chose radius to be 30. So I click on the sprite one more time to move it a little bit up, and then I click on the move mode here, as you can see on the move mode. So click on sprite, click on the move mode, and then navigate it to the top a little bit, like that. So I just clicked on the sprite, I clicked on the move mode. You'll see why I did it later, and then move him to the bottom, to the top a little bit. So it looks like that here. Okay, let's see in the in our script what's next. Set camera as current. So what I have to do is to set the camera as current. Let's click on the camera 2D, and let's activate the current option on the right side here. So I click on the current, and now the camera is current, right? So the game will be using this camera because we can use multiple cameras. Okay, and then we have to add the animations. So let's add an animation here. I click on the animation player. I expand it a little bit to the top. I'll click on animation here, and I'll create a new animation. Let's create a idle animation to see how our character stays, so that after, for example, 5 seconds of standing, he will do something. So idle. The duration of the animation. So I clicked on animation player. I clicked on animation here. I clicked on new, and I wrote the name of the new animation, idle. Let's change the length or the duration of the animation to be 7, for example, 7 seconds. As the animation has changed length to 7, then we can add what we want to animate. So click on the sprite one more time. On the right panel, we have the animation here section, and we have the frames here. So we can basically change the frames of our character here. So I will just change it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, it looks nice. Our character looks very happy. Okay, but which one are we going to choose for our idle idle animation. I'll click on the, I'll just change it to null one more time, 0 one more time. So I think those one in the beginning, like this one here, for example, pam, 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 look how happy he is. Okay, let's choose those as idle animation. So I'll change to null one more time. The frame, I'll click on the plus button here. As I click on that, I want to add a new key. He asks me to confirm. Do not use the Bezier curves. It is very important not to use those. So do not check this here. Click on create, and then we have our first frame. And let's say he stands like for 4 minutes, and after 4 seconds, and after 4 seconds, he will make something, show us how happy he is. So let's choose the right frame one more time. This one, for example, the 7th frame, and then I clicked on the key button. So then a new frame was added here, and the time was changed to 4:1 here. So now I click on the key one more time because he jumped. And then actually I want to use the 7th frame one more time so that he lands. I click on the key one more time. I will zoom it a little bit to make it bigger. So he stands, he jumps, he stands, and now we want to show how happy he is. So we'll use the frames 5 and 6, 5 and 6, one more time, 5 and 6, one more time, 5 and 6. Okay, let's see how our animation looks like. I will, with Control and Scroll, I zoom in and zoom out. So I'll zoom out a little bit. I will change to the beginning of the animation, and I'll click on the animation looping icon to see how it looks like, and I'll click on the play button. So as I clicked on the play button, the animation starts, and then he shows us how happy he is, and then it starts over again. So actually, I want to add one more time, one more frame, so that we will end our animation with the front side of our character. So I'll make it a little bit bigger one more time. I will make it bigger. I said it was somewhere here. From the 5th second, for example, we want to use this here animation one more time. So as I clicked on the 5th second, I click on the frame I make it bigger one more time. I click on the frame I want to duplicate. I click with the right mouse button to duplicate keys. And then he's facing, then we see him the last 2 seconds of the animation facing toward us. Okay, let's move out. Let's add in another animation with called, what was in our script? Our script, we should add the animation move as well. So as he moves, I added a new animation move. This will be maybe 1 second. Let's go to the sprite one more time. Let's click on the frame and search for our moving frame. Moving frames are those, here we are. 24, 25, 6, 7, are those? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it looks like he's moving. Okay, so let's use those here. The first one is the 24th one. So I'll click on the plus button one more time. I don't use the Bezier curves. Then we go to the, for example, null.2, and then we'll use the 25th frame. Then on null.4, we will use the 26th frame. And how it looks, does it look? Bam, 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 bam. It looks like that. We still need maybe to add those here at the beginning. So I'll click on the null.6 to have my cursor here. And I will right click on the first key to duplicate this one. And I will just create the loop and see how it looks like. He runs like that. It doesn't look so great yet. So I'll just double check how does the texture look like? The texture region is here. So we basically use the right one. So I'll just add a new frame there to make it a little bit longer, the animation. Okay, so let's go to click on the animation player one more time. Let's go to the move section and then simply add those here in the beginning. I will click on the null.6, for example, and duplicate this one here, duplicate key. And then on the first second, I will duplicate this key as well. Oh, this is the same one. I will delete it with delete button. I will click on that here and duplicate this one. And then I will extend it to be 1.2 in length. Let's see how it looks like. So he runs like that. Okay, it's not so perfect, but we do not have time to make it better. We have our move animation, and then we also need to create our dash animation. That's the last one we're going to create in that chapter. Let's click on the new, and I'll create a new dash animation. We'll be dashing only for like 0.2 seconds, so I'll change the animation length to be 0.2. I again click on the sprite. I click on the, let's choose the dash animations. The dash animation, so maybe those two. So we'll jump in the jump and then land, and that will be our dash. So we always count from 0 in programming, or not always, but very often. So it's the 0th, first, second, and then third animation frame we want to use. So let's change to animation player one more time. Let's click on sprite. I click on frame in the inspector on the right side, and I'll use the first frame. That is actually the second frame because we count from 0. I click on the key button, I click on the create button. Then we want actually here on the bottom, we have the snapping option that snaps our animation frames always to 0.1 seconds. So I'll disable this option here. So on the somewhere here, I will create the second frame animation. So we jump in the height, and then I'll create the third landing animation as well, like that. Now we can move those animations. Let's double check how it looks like. Hop. I'll allow the looping option, and let's see how it looks like. Okay, so we dash pretty fast, but that's also the meaning. We also want to have it like that. Okay, so we have our animations, our free animations, dash, idle, move. And then let's see what's the next step. Now we have to add the input map, right? Because we want to navigate with our player. So let's go to player settings, project settings in the top left corner. Let's click on project settings and then click on the input map. I know I'm going a little bit fast right now, but as we are recording it, maybe you can rewatch it later and then stop and play it because we need to make this course in 1 hour. We have only 1 hour left. So I click on input map here. One more time, I clicked on the project and then project settings, input map. Let's add our move actions. So we will be moving move underscore left, move underscore right, move up underscore up, move underscore down. And we also want to dash. We'll be dashing on space. So I'll add dash action. Click on move left. I'll click on the plus button and choose the key move left. Press the key, so I'll move with WASD. So A is the left moving up action. Let's move to the right with the D option, D key I mean. Move up with the W. Okay. Move down, I click on the plus button on the key. Move down S, and we'll be dashing on space. You can also use your controller if you have one, or move your mouse. It's up to you. Okay, so I'll close this one here. We added our input map. I will save it with Control S one more time. Let's add the player script right now. So this is the player script. I'm going to explain a little bit what are we adding here. You can also copy the whole thing and just paste it there. But let's click on the player. As I clicked on the player, I click on the plus, attach a new or existing script for the selected node. A new modal appears. We'll not change anything here. We'll simply click on create. So we can basically copy all this code here and paste it there. Actually, I'll do that. I'll do that right now, and then I'll just explain how it works. So I'll click Control A to delete the whole text here, and I'll click Control V to paste the whole script. Oh man, it's not correctly placed, so we'll have to refactor it a little bit. So actually, I will delete it and I'll copy it piece for piece. So the first two lines are, maybe I'll just click Windows. No, I'll not do that. I'll open the script on another window. You have the script for sure on your computer, so you don't have to see it. So the first thing we want to do in the player code is to extend another class, the kinematic body 2D, because this player is a kinematic body. And we'll also add a class name to this class we'll be creating so that we can use this class name in another scripts later. Where are you now? In the script, you mean, Johannes? So I'm right now here in the script in the chapter 2 and the add a player script. And I'm here now in the script. So I just clicked on the player and I clicked here on the plus script. So my scene changed to be the code in code view. So you have to click on the player and click on the attached script here. Now I have clear script because I already have attached my script. I changed to the script view in the top of the Godot game engine. And now I'm in the script view. I hope that was the answer to your question. So now what we have to do, our character is going to emit a signal end game. So let's add a signal end game. This basically means that if we win or we lose, we want to end the game. So our character is going to emit a signal end game when the game ends. Right. Next thing, we want to add some variables. In programming, variables are actually simply containers where we put some things inside. So you can see that a variable is, for example, a backpack where we put different things inside. So how we do that? We actually create it in that way that we want to use the keyboard export here. We want to export a variable that is going to be an integer. So export integer in parentheses, and then use the keyword variable var, and then we'll name our variable speed. So this is the speed variable. This basically means that we want to create speed variable, and inside the speed variable or speed backpack, speed container, you can look on those as containers or backpacks, we want to put inside 200. So right now, our variable speed is 200. Okay, let's add some different variables. You can copy this line of code here from the script or from your own, and then change the name to the dash speed. So as we dash, we have to dash much faster. So we'll dash with 800 speed. And then the third variable will be activities to collect. Activities to underscore collect. You can basically call your variables as you wish, but I propose to stay with my names because we will be using the variables later in the code. So we have 6 activities to collect. So I put 6 inside the activities to collect variable. Okay, we also have some different variables that are going to be loaded actually from files. So we'll add the onReady variable, onReady variable called animation player. So as you see, I use different keywords. I don't want to go inside what does it mean right now. You can Google it later or simply watch another Godot tutorials. We have a lot of those on YouTube. onReady variable anim player, and we'll add the animation player. So we want to basically add this node to this variable. And to do so, we will use the special sign, the dollar sign. As I clicked the dollar, or as I wrote dollar, I just choose the animation player. You can also write it by your hand. It's the same. So dollar animation player. So in the 10th line, we have onReady var animation player, dollar animation player. We'll also add the onReady variable, onReady variable. That basically means that after we load our scene, we'll load those variables later. So those one will be loaded at the beginning, and those here after the scene is loaded, because we cannot get those nodes before they are loaded for sure. So let's add a sprite with, so I create a new variable sprite, and this is the same as we put inside the sprite node. So this is the sprite node, this one here, we put inside here. And then we'll add onReady variable dash time. This basic dash timer, sorry. This basically means that we want to have the dash timer here. So the dash timer counts down how long can we dash our player dash. Okay, so as you can copy the code actually from the script, I'll go a little bit faster. You can only, I will also copy it actually here. So let's add 4 new variables. Facing right. This means if our character is facing right, but we see that this is actually now set to false. So our character is facing left at the beginning. Is dashing is also false. So our character is not dashing. Velocity is speed of our character. It is in Godot we have a concept of having vectors. So you for sure you have it on your in your mathematics lessons where you were pointing or creating those different vectors. A vector has always an x and an y variable, and velocity is a vector right now in 2D. So we use the vector 2D. And activities collected, this is actually amount of activities we already collected. Okay, so let's add the function right now. Function is basically a method, a function that is going to be called as we call it. So let's create a new function. We'll call it, as I called it in the tutorial, get input. Functions always need to end with parentheses here, where we can send different variables, but we have an empty parentheses here right now, so we'll not send anything inside it. As we use the colon and click on enter, we see that we are moved to the right. And this is very important because we use Python here, or not direct Python, but a Python-like script. So here we have to, if you delete it, you're then on the same line beginning as function, but you have to click on tab one more time to be aligned with the function. So everything we write here inside it will be in the function. Okay, so I will actually copy the code, the moving code, and paste it here. Okay, and I will select this code here and click on tab to move it to the right. And now simply everything that is here inside will be inside the get input method. So we'll also have the first thing is that we assign to the velocity null vector again. This is basically vector 2 is basically a null vector. So we assign a new null vector to velocity right now. And then we have to a condition, if input action is pressed, move right. So we had those those input map that we created there. We had the move right method there, or move right action. So if move right is selected or pressed, we want to add the velocity x variable 1. So what we are basically doing is when we use our keyboard, I have to move those lines of code 22, 24, 26, 28 to the right, so that this is here aligned to the right, because this is inside the condition here. And also Godot was red, telling me that something is wrong here. And if we move left, then we want to decrease the velocity x vector by 1. If we move down, we want to make it bigger. And if we move up, the y variable, and then if we move up, we want to make it smaller. Okay, so this is our input map code. There was some more code, I think. Yeah. So next thing is I will copy the whole method to the end right now and paste it here. Copy and paste from the script. You can make the same. If our character is dashing, then remember to have it with 2 tabs to the right moved. Then the velocity is a normalized vector. We want to normalize this vector here right now. And we want to multiply it by dash speed, because if we are dashing, we want to use the dash speed. If we are not dashing, so we use else. Remember those tabs. Do not use spaces. Spaces are going to fail. So use only tabs. And this here little icon means that we are using right thing, means tabs. If we are dashing, velocity is a normalized vector of velocity multiplied by dash speed. In another case, we want to use the velocity as velocity is normalized by speed, normal speed, right? Next thing is if our character is facing right and the velocity is bigger than null, than 0, then we want to flip our character. We'll use implemented function later. And if we are not facing right and our velocity is x is smaller than 0, we also want to flip this character. Okay, basically that's it. We have some more code here. If we are moving, if we are dashing, we want to play the dash animation. In other case, if our velocity x isn't 0 and velocity y isn't 0, so we are actually moving, but we are not dashing. So in our condition, we write this and not is dashing. So our character is not dashing. Then we want to play the animation move. And if our character is not dashing and is not moving, then we'll play the animation idle. So we just stay. And if our action is pressed, dash, we want to start dashing. This is also a function, right? Start dashing, we'll actually call this function. Now here, the method flip isn't declared in current class yet, so we'll declare it as well. So I'll copy the code for physics process for now. This basically means that this is a process that will be called once per, or we have those FPS method. In each game, we have a game loop. So basically, it means that our game engine is trying to call one function, for example, 60 times per second. That means we have 60 FPS. So this function here, physics process, is going to be called like maybe 60 times per second. And what it does, it simply takes it simply gets or fires the getInput function. This is this function here. The whole function is with the tabs moved to the right. And then he's trying to move our character. So we have a pre-programmed function that is called move and slide in Godot. And as we are on our character, we can simply use this method. And the result of this method, we return to our velocity. Okay, you don't have to understand all the code here. The important thing is simply to be able to adjust it later. And then you don't have to, you don't have to write all this code here by your hand, but basically you need to understand it later a little more and more as you use, as you type, as you see tutorials. And later it will be much and much easier, more and more easier for you to understand the code you write. And later you will also be able to write your own code for sure. So I just copied the last part of the script for our character. We have the function flip. What this function does is simply is changing our facing right variable. So our variable will be now the opposite from the last one. So our variable on the beginning, it was false, and we are changing it to be true. If it was true, we are changing it to be false because we are assigning the value of not facing right. And if we are flipping, we want to use our sprite, so this here, and we want to apply a different, apply or change the value of flip. Okay, then we have a function called play animation, play anim. If our animation player is playing, so if we currently are playing animation and current animation player and the animation we are playing is the same one that we want to play, then we return anything. That means we stop this function. In the 60th line of code, we simply, if not opposite, then we just play the animation that we send to this function. Then we also have a function called start dashing. So if we are not dashing, we want to start dashing. So if we fire up this function, if we are not dashing, if we have a condition here, if this sign means not, so if not dashing, this is the same as writing if not is dashing. Then is dashing will be changed to true, because if we start dashing, we want to start dashing, right? And we want to start our timer as well. So our timer will start here. And then we also have, let's go and navigate to the timer right now and change the duration of the timer to be 0.2 seconds. So this timer after 0.2 seconds will fire up this function here on dash timer timeout. Let's add a new tab here for this function. And then we also have last two functions. In 1 minute, we'll maybe start the game and see how our character is moving around on the map. So that will be interesting. And the take damage animation will simply emit the signal end game. And the collect activity function will simply increase the amount of our activities collected. So the activities collected variable will be activities collected plus 1. And if activities collected are bigger than activities to collect, as you remember, we defined this to be 6. So if we collected 6 activities, then we emit a signal end game. As simple as that. There is something wrong here. Activities to collect, not to collected. I'll just double check how I call this. Activities collected and then activities to collect. So if activities collected is bigger or the same as activities to collect, yeah, now it's right. I had a D here. Okay, so I have a little failure in our script here. We have activities to collected, but it should be activities to collect. Just be aware of that. You have to change this in the script. Maybe I'll update the script later after the course. Okay, we have a little bit more as half an hour right now, but we haven't seen how our game looks like, right? Or we did not see anything actually. We did not see the game yet. We just wrote much of code here where we are moving our character, where we are dashing as well. So let's run the game actually right now. And before we do that, we just need to collect the dash timer signal. So click on dash timer and click on the node on the right side. And we have all the signals here that this node emits. So let's click on the timer and click on the timeout. Double click on that. As you see, this signal will be sent if the timer went to 0. We set the waiting time to be 0.2 seconds. So if this time goes out, this timeout signal will be emitted. So let's connect it with our player script with the method on dash timer timeout. Let's collect it with this here. As we see, this function here is connected with our dash timer. Here is the icon of the signal that we created. So let's basically run the game. The last thing before we run the game is we have to add our player scene to our game. So let's click on the instance. Let's click on the world scene right now. And let's click on the instance scene file as a node. And then select the player scene. So we have our player here. And then we are good. Then we can run the game actually. Let's click on the run button. And then we only have to select the main scene. So let's select the world to be in the main scene. And then let's see if we did everything right. I hope we did. we are only copying the code. Okay. Oh, you see our character is moving. Is after 5 seconds, it's using the happy or the idle animation. If we move, oh cool, the moving works. And as I click on space, it's dashing. Oh, how cool is that? It's also flipping. Okay, so our code, it looks like our code works. The only thing is that we can go through the walls. Can we go through this here? Okay, so I have also to add the collision shape to add the collision to those tiles. I will just make it really fast before we move forward with the next chapter. So let's click on the tile map. Let's click on the new tile here to go to the tile set. Let's click on the tile set, and on the tile, this one here. Oh, we actually have collision here. No, we doesn't. we do not have it. So let's click on create a new rectangle and add a collision here. Oh, it doesn't look good. Let's activate the snap tool and add the collision one more time. It will be much better then. I have to delete this first, and then we have this here. Okay, so we have the collision right now. Let's click on the move game one more time to play it one more time. Does it work now? I hope so. Yeah, we cannot go through the walls. Great. Neither with dash and without. Oh, it will be amazing to add the COVID monster right now here and try to kill him or try to avoid him. Okay, let's close this here. We have half an hour. Now we have to go a little bit faster. I hope you will enjoy it still. We are here after the chapter 2. You can download the code if you are stuck somewhere. And let's go to the chapter 3. I will just take some water. Okay, steps to do. Create a new scene with these nodes. So let's create a new scene by plus button. Click on the plus button, and let's create a new scene with, first of all, we have to add a kinematic body 2D. Let's change the name of this kinematic body to be COVID-19. COVID-19, very scary monster. Let's add a sprite as well. Then I'm using Control A to add a new scene, add a new node to our node. Let's add the collision shape as well, because our COVID monster should not go through walls. Let's add the area 2D. Basically the plan is that he has an area where he sees us and an area where he can kill us. So if we go inside the area of sight area, then he can see us, and then he will be chasing to us. And if we get inside the attack area, then he can attack us, and then we are dead. So let's change the name of this area 2D to be site area, site range area, site range, and let's add a collision shape here inside this area. Collision shape. So we have an area 2D. I changed the name to be site range, and let's add collision shape here. Now we have to add one more range, area 2D. Let's change the name of it to be attack range, and add a collision shape to this one. Okay, so now we're good, and the last thing is to add the animation body, animation player. Okay, so we basically made the first step. We have the same as on the picture here. Now we have to add the sprite. So let's click on the sprite right now. We'll use the character robot sheet. Let's drag and drop it to the texture. With middle mouse click, I can navigate through the scene. I can zoom a little bit inside, and then we have to change the animation to be like the previous one, to be 9 and 5, I think it was, or 5 and 9. Yeah, it was 5 and 9. 5 and 9. 9. Now we have our COVID monster. Oh, how scary he is. That is, let's change the collision shape. Let's add a collision shape. So click on collision shape, new circle shape. Let's add a radius also to be 30, the same one as on our player. Now we want to move our COVID monster a little bit to the top, or only the sprite. So let's click on the move mode, click on the sprite. I use the shift key to allow moving only in 2 directions, up and to the right. So I shift click on that and move him to the top like that. Yeah, it looks good. Now we have to add a collision shape on side area. On collision shape, or I'll just double check it. Yeah. On collision shape, we have to add a new circle shape 2D. And let's say collision shape side area, let's make this to be like 300. So this is basically the side of our COVID monster. I can save it here to be COVID-19 scene. And let's add attack range. And I think attack range, he will be able to attack like 50. So we'll have to go inside this area here. He needs to catch us to kill us, to attack us. Okay, basically if you develop your new games, you can adjust those values later so it fits your game. Now we have to create the animations. So click on the animation player, click on animation new. I will create an attack animation. This will be how much time, maybe half a second to attack us, half second. Let's choose the frames to attack. I click on sprite, I click on texture region. I expand this one here. So let's choose sprites to attack. I think maybe this one here and this one. So the first one and this one here. We'll have to search for this one. So let's change to animation. I will take it down. Let's click on sprite. Let's use the first frame. So actually those collision shapes disturb me a little bit, so I will disable those. I click on the side icon here, like that. Now we only see our COVID monster. Now I choose the first frame and I click on the key button. Use Bezier curves. I don't want to use those. I click on create, and then we also had the sprite. Which one was this? It was the number. I'm searching for this one right now. Oh, here, 32, 30 seconds. So let's choose this one here as well. Now we can just test our animation. I will just click the icon of animation looping and play it. Bam, bam. So this will be how he will be attacking us. Let's add a new animation. And do we have move? Yeah, we have the move animation as well. So let's click on sprite, texture region, and choose which where we'll be moving. So we'll be moving. Maybe let's use those here. This one, this one, this one, this one, this one to move. Yeah, we'll use all of those here, all those here to move. Let's go back to animation. Click on sprite. Click on frame. We'll go to the it is the sprite, I think it's the frame number 36. So I will click on, I will choose 36 and click on the, I'll just double check, okay. I will click on the key button. I will create a new animation. I will allow snapping so that it changes automatically to the next snap, to the next position. It was the 36th, so let's use the 37 right now. Click one more time, it changed to 38 and moved one to the right. So I can, one position to the right, so I can one more time click on the key button, one more time, again and again, again. Oh, so we are good here. So we basically need 0.8 seconds to make the whole animation. Let's see how it looks like. Okay, it's much better than our player animation. You can adjust your player animation later, but we don't have time to do it right now. So we have the move animation, and the last one is the idle animation. As he stands, it will be maybe 7 seconds long. Let's change this here to be 7. I will zoom out a little bit. How will our COVID monster be standing idle waiting for our player? So I think that this will be the first one. So the first one will be the first one in our animation, and maybe those here, this one, and this one. Those are pretty scary. So we'll use those here, those three. Okay, so let's change to animation one more time. Click on the sprite. As the first frame, first position, we want to use the frame, the 0 frame. Let's create a new animation. And then after maybe 4 seconds, we want to use those scary sprite, those scary positions. Let's search for those. Oh, here are they. So it's 21, 21, and then maybe after half second, 22, and after half second again, 23. Is that okay? Let's see how it looks like. Play it one more time. So basically 4 seconds, he's standing still. As he's standing on one place, then he makes scary positions. Wow, those are really scary. Right, so we have the idle animation. So then we are good as well. Let's move to the 5th point, add the script to our COVID monster. This script is much shorter, so we'll go through it a little bit faster. Let's click on the COVID monster, attach a new script, create the script. Then we copy the variable definitions. Here we are. So first we extend the kinematic body to D. We don't have to use the, you can actually navigate through scripts here. So I created a new script on the left panel here inside the script script panel. I see the player script and I see the COVID monster script. So we don't need to use the class name line here because we are only because we will not be using it in other scripts. So I'll leave it blank. I will export the speed. The COVID monster will not be dashing so that we have a chance to win. Already we have the variables animation player and sprite, so that we assign those, the sprite here and this animation player, to in our script. Let's change to script view one more time. Here is our player is chasing, facing right, and the velocity. Those are declarations of our variables. Let's copy the physics process function. This one will also be called around 60 times per second. So we have the, first of all, we have to set the velocity to null. This is another way of setting vectors, of setting velocity to 0 vector. And now, if we are chasing a player, then our velocity should be directed to the chasing player position. So basically under chasing player, we have the player that we see if he goes inside our sight area, right? So if he's chasing us, is that your, oh no, else one more time, chasing player. I think this here should be move. Oh, so there's another typo in our script. So if we are chasing player, then we should move to him. Otherwise, we are standing still. I will change those two typos in our script. So the second typo is here. If we are chasing a player, we want to play animation, not attack but move. We want to play attack animation only if we see him, if he's inside our attack area. Otherwise, we play animation idle. And if we are facing right and we actually move, and so our velocity x is greater than 0, then we want to flip. And if we are not facing right and our velocity x is lower than 0, then we want to flip as well. And at the end of the physics process, we want to move actually. So we use again the move and slide function, and we're good. So let's add the Godot game engine already says us that the method play anim isn't declared in the current class. So we have to add it from our script. Let's add the flip function for sure first. As we add the flip function, we are facing right, or we are changing the value of facing right variable. And then we also want to change the flip age attribute on sprite to be opposite. So we want to actually make the flip, right, on our sprite. And then the next thing is if anybody enters, or first, yeah, where we have the enter, here we have the enter function. So first the enter function, if a body entered our sight area range and the body is player, so if player enters our sight area, then we want to assign this body, so the player that entered the sight area, to our chasing player variable, but only if it's a player. We don't want to assign the body to chasing player if a block or another thing enters our sight area. So later, if anything, if a body exits our sight area, and it is actually the body, if anybody exits our sight area, and it is the player we are chasing against, so then we want to release or set null to our chasing player variable, and then we are not chasing him anymore, right? So the last two methods are the play animation method. We know, or we are familiar with this method already from the player script. So the play anim method is basically if we are currently playing anything, any animation, and this is actually the current animation, what we want to play, then we return nothing. And otherwise, we want to play the animation we have here. We send to the play animation function. And the last function in that code is that we want to on attack range body entered. If anybody enters our attack range, then, and this body actually has a method take damage. So we actually have this method on our player character. So if our player enters our body range of COVID monster, then we want to call this method. And what this method does is, let's check one more time. Here on player script, I clicked on the player. Here we have the take damage here. Then we emit the signal end game with false flag that we did not win. Okay, so this is basically it for chapter 3. It is then we have only one chapter left. Let's see how it looks like on our world scene. Let's add a new instance of this COVID monster here. So we have the COVID monster. We can, oh, it's under the tile map. That should not happen. Let's navigate it to the world. Okay, we only have 20 minutes, so this is going to be fast now. I apologize for that, but we have the COVID monster here, and we actually need to assign his, right, one more time. What does it happen? Yeah, we want to go to the COVID monster, and then we want to assign the signals of those ranges to the script of COVID monster. So if body enters, we want to assign it to the COVID monster 19 script. It is here. And if anybody, and also of the site range, if body enters, we want to connect this with this function here. And if body exits from the COVID monster, we want to connect it with this function here. Okay, so we have this here. And now we can actually test it. If he's chasing against us, let's turn our game on. Here we have our game. Okay, so he's chasing against us. If we go outside the site area, he's not chasing anymore. Hello, come here. Ah, with space I can run away. Okay, so this works. And now let's go to the 4th chapter as well. So we need to add some UI elements. So I create a new scene. I will create the same one that is in script. So I'll create a user interface called control. I clicked on user interface right now. Let's add the texture color rectangle here. Actually click on control first and click on layout and click on full rect to have it a full side of our game area. Click on color rect as well and click on full rect as well. And then click on color rect, click on color one more time, change the color to be black and then maybe a little bit transparent. This is going to be background of our you won or you lost screen. So let's make it a little bit transparent like that here maybe. And let's add a new texture, what is it called? Texture rect to add our text you won or you lost textures. So this one is here. And let's move it to the center. So I click on texture rect, layout, and move it to the center. I can now use the, oh, there is no, I do not have this, those textures here. So they weren't included in the link that I downloaded from the script. I will just double check if you guys have those in the assets we downloaded. Otherwise, I have to upload those. I can double check it later and upload those to the script as well. But basically what my problem right now is that I do not have those textures for you lost and you won. So I will search for those on my local computer. You cannot do that for sure, but okay, so loss and victory. I think I uploaded those later to the assets, so you should maybe have those. But let's move those to the assets folder here. I will make sure that they are in the assets folder as well in our script later. I hope they are there. But I have here the loss PNG texture. It looks like that. Okay, so here's our, here we lost, and then let's make the victory one, and here we won. Okay, but let's clear this field here because we want to edit on the edit in the game scene as well. So let's save this one here as control or actually, yeah, we can save it as control. In the script, I called it pop-up, but it makes basically no difference. So let's create a new world here, and let's create a new node under the world. It will be called canvas layer, and let's add twice this control scene. So one time and add one more control scene, this here. So we had basically two control scenes here right now. Let's change the name of one to loss and to victory. And then what we have to do now, we have to add different assets. What I'm doing here, I'm showing you different possibilities of Godot, so I don't want to do everything in the same way. So here we have the possibility to edit children. So I click on editable children on both of those. I click, and now I have the children. Those are the same one as on the control. So I click on texture rect, and I drag and drop the loss to texture. Here we are, and the victory to victory one to the texture. Here we have both. Let's make them invisible because we want to make them visible in our code. So that's actually the next thing we are going to do. We are going to create the script for our world scene. So let's create a new script. Here, I clicked on the plus button on world scene. Yeah, I'm Vezel. You have this asset cool. But I downloaded the chapter 2 or chapter 1 script later, so that's why I did not have those textures. But I'm glad that you have those there. And then I create a new script on the world. As I created a new script, let's copy and paste it from our tutorial from there. So basically what it does, it's very simple. It only receives the end game signal. And if the signal was sent with victory flag set to true, then we want to make the UI, as you see here, oh, it's called UI. So we have to change this one here to be UI, rename it to UI. It's actually UI in script as well, I think, yeah? Yeah, it's renamed to be UI as well. So I just named this canvas layer to be UI. And then if victory, I want to make the victory control visible. And if not victory, then I want to make the loss control visible. And what I want to do also as well is I want to pause the game. So I call the function, or I set the pause variable of get3, so of the world instance of the world scene of the world node to be true, to be paused. Let's test how it works right now. So as I open it here, now he chases along to us, but we did not lose. It's because we forgot, or not forgot, but we did not connected the signal yet from player. So go to player, go to node, go to end, and connect the end game signal that we created in code with the world script, and click on connect, and it's connected here. Now as we run the game, then we'll lose pretty fast, I think. Maybe we already lost. Yeah, now we lost. We do not see the lost icon here, texture here. We'll double check it later why we do not see this here. Maybe you have to make those visible. No, I actually don't think so. Okay, I'll double check it later. But let's go further and let's add all those activities. So I'll add an activity scene. This will be called the area 2D. So I'll add area 2D scene. I just create a new scene right now. I change the name of it to be activity, and we are inside the tutorial script on the chapter 4 step 6 activity script. And then I want to add a sprite. And then I also want to add a collision shape 2D. I want to take the shape to be the capsule, and let's make the radius to be maybe 60, or even maybe 100. No, 60 should be good because we have 60 on our player as well, and the height maybe to be 10. Actually, I will go to here and I'll adjust it as I want. So let's make it like that. Let's make it pretty small, like so, the radius so, and then we want to transform it. So I click on transform, and then I want to rotate it like 90 degrees to the right. And then we have this collision shape here saved as well. Let's save it as activity. And then we want to add a script to the activity. As I extend, I will copy the script from our script file. Let's paste it here. So basically we use our texture, exported texture. We will be adding the texture soon to our activities as well. In the ready function, we want to assign the texture to our sprite texture. And on activity body entered, if the body is player, we want to collect those activities and delete the activity from the queue, from the game tree. So let's save this one, let's close this one, and let's place those activities in our world. So to do that, I will create a new node, a simple, very simple node. The first one, let's change the name of it to be activities. Let's create a new, let's add all the activity scene to the activities node. As we have the activity here, we can actually move it to be somewhere else, for example, here. And let's change the name of it to be photo. And as we created exported variable activity texture in code, then we can also use the photo texture on this one here. This doesn't appear here because it will appear here first when we create the game, when we run the game. So let's click on the photo activity and let's click on Control D to duplicate it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so that we have 6 of those. Let's add the gaming activity as well and the gaming texture. On the third one, let's add coding activity, coding, and the coding texture. Let's add creative and the creative texture and the media and the media texture. And I'll change the name of the last one to music and the music texture. Okay, but now we have all those activities here. So let's use the move tool to move those around our game. I will move this one here, so that we have those activities in different places, and the gaming one here maybe. Okay, I will also move away the COVID monster because it will be too difficult to have him here right now. Let's connect the signals from the activities. So actually we have to connect this. Let's go to the activity scene with this button here, open an editor. I go to the area, I click on the area 2D, right? And I click on the body entered signal and connect it with the activity. So this is connected with our on activity body entered function. Let's save it here. As I move back to the world, I see all the signals added to those activities. Okay, let's check the game now, how it looks like. So basically we have the game here. Oh, we have those UI elements, user interface elements visible. So I will make those invisible. I will hide those. I will run the game with F5 or with the play button here on the right side. And now we will move. Now he sees us. Come on, try to catch us. Come here. We are faster with our dashing functionality. Let's gather all those different activities. One more here. And then we won. We actually do not have that one texture here. Not yet. That's the only thing thing we have to check out why we do not have those. Let's make editable children one more time on those loss and victory. I think because I changed the name of the UI element. Let's click on the texture rect on the loss, and let's drag and drop this here. Oh, one more time, I have to change to the inspector, and let's drag and drop this to the texture here, and let's drag and drop this one here to the victory texture, and let's disable the visibility of those one more time with the view icon, and let's run this one here one more time. How does it look like? So now we can gather those here, and now we lose. And now if we turn this game on, now let's try to win it. Okay, so now if we come here, COVID, dear COVID, come here. Now we'll move here and let's gather the coding. And now we have one more to win. Yeah, we won. How cool is that? Very simple. But it's actually a very simple game, isn't it? I think we have to make it a little bit more difficult. We're actually done with our course, with our tutorial. We're now here on the last one. We can download the whole tutorial from the chapter 4 link here. If you wish, you can download this one and play with me. But let's make it a little bit more difficult. So let's click on the COVID monster and click on Control D to duplicate this one. So now we have 2 monsters. And let's duplicate it one more time to have 3 of those. Whoa, that will be really difficult. So let's all the monsters stay now in this position here. So let's move one of those here, and the second one here. Let's see how difficult is that one here now. Let's run the game with F5. So it looks like it is not so difficult yet, but as I gather the photo, whoa, 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 oh, this is not so easy. One more time. So my own game defeated myself. Wait a second. Let's go to photo. Let's go here. I have to get him here upstairs. Now, I'm not sure if it's possible. Maybe I have to move to the right. Wait a second. Let's go to the right. I'll get him here. Come here, dear monster. Come up, come up. You as well. Come here. So I'll get both of you here. Oh, maybe here. Ah, no! How to get it done? Oh, now it gets a little bit more difficult. Oh, no! I simply had the last one and I lost. Okay, but this is basically how game development looks like. It was a little bit fast on the end, I know. Maybe I should go a little bit faster in the beginning, and then but the course is recorded, so we can open it up later on YouTube and then just simply stop there where it was too fast and then repeat it one more time and see how it looks like. It would be really cool to add the possibility here to delete those COVID monsters, right? And expand the map to make it much bigger. You can play with different possibilities here. To delete the monster, for example, you could add a new input on control or somewhere to attack, new animation to attack, and then simply new area 2D where you would be attacking. There are many possibilities to adjust this game here, but it is actually already pretty funny, and you can show it to your friends, show it to your brother, sister, and play around, mess around with it, and see how it makes you feel when the people say that it's difficult or it is cool to play your game. So basically that's it from my side. We have 2 more minutes until the stream starts. So we can actually go and drink a little bit. Do you have any questions now? We have 15 people that were with us until the end. Thanks very much for the tutorial, Axel. When will the recording be available on YouTube? So I will basically adjust the 2 typos in the script, and then I can upload it today, I hope. So maybe soon, maybe 1 hour, 2 hours. We'll look how fast it is to be uploading, how long it takes. So okay, have fun and send pictures of your games if you adjust it to the group. And see you later.